Let's get a voice note from James on Kia.
Morning, Mike. James here. God, could you imagine Starmer using a hairdryer? Keir, what are you doing, darling? I'm fixing the foundations by using a hairdryer on the wall. Also, I appear to be on Plank of the Week every week. Cheers, Mike. Have a good one.
Yeah. You won't be surprised to know he's on it again this week, but we can't keep giving it to him. But the point is, the reason for this, if you've just tuned in at 6:38, is that Keir Starmer has apparently said that he builds the foundations by spraying a hairdryer on a damp wall. But that's not good enough, and you actually sometimes have to take the whole wall out. I mean, it's absolutely extraordinary, isn't it? How about this from Lisa, who says, "Morning, Mike. How much did all that Labour charade cost the taxpayer? Printing glossy brochures, hiring the venue, all that useless signage, complete waste of money." Exactly right. It is absolutely incredible. Let's talk more about Sadiq Khan, though. The idea that he's going to get a knighthood has really riled a lot of people up because they think he's the least deserving individual for all of the damage that he's done. And he has done a lot of damage to London. Yeah,
I completely agree with you. It's a horror. I've lived here now for, what, 11 years, something like that, and you can feel the decline that's happened.
Totally.
For all the people you go, Boris, what a clown he was as Mayor of London. The guy got crime down.
He was actually a much better Mayor of London than he was Prime Minister.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. But you've got like my family who will come into London. They're scared to come in now, right? It doesn't feel safe.
Loads of people are.
You know, my missus walking down the street, she won't get her phone out because she was actually watching, actually for once, a copper arresting someone. But it was people going up and down Oxford Street grabbing phones out of your hand. Yeah. And that's not to mention in the less central parts the horrible crime that's been going on, the kind of knife attacks and all the rest of it. So when he does get his knighthood, and you know what happens, you get down on your knees and the king or someone else comes along.
He may not have to get down on his knees because he's small enough already, right?
And they'll tap the sword on your shoulders and your head. I think it's meant to be because that's the last time that you're allowed to be hit with a sword without striking back in honour of your sovereign. Right. Perhaps they should do it with one of these zombie knives they've taken off a kid who's been empowered to commit these crimes. And that would be a nice bit of poetry.
That would be a nice bit of poetry because it is. People are just unhappy with the way that the gridlock of London. The way that as the last voice note said, the transport system's been run into the ground. The man is the absolute disgrace, really. Nothing could be said that was more true. Elon Musk back in the news, as we said. Nigel Farage was talking about Elon Musk, but Nigel Farage was also the subject of a question to Elon Musk. Let's have a look what he's had to say.
Are you going to give Nigel Farage 80 million? What's your plan?
No.
I think that was, are you going to give £80 million to Nigel Farage? And he went, no. The thing about Musk is he's always walking around with a baby on his head, which is quite an interesting accessory look, isn't it?
Well, he's got so many
kids. This season, walk around with a baby on your head. He's got 12, I think, isn't he?
And counting. But he understands that actually one of the big problems in the world is population collapse. From everywhere in the world apart from sub-Saharan Africa, we're seeing massive reductions coming our way in terms of populations. China is going to face an absolutely catastrophic reduction in numbers of people because the one-child policy was such a failure. But more importantly, I think in Europe and in the United States, we're going to see a big decline. Not enough people are having children. And part of that is the madness of saying, oh, well, the world's going to boil, the world's going to end, and listening to Greta Thunberg as a way of planning your family.
Sorry.
Exactly.
Is she still, I mean, she's still missing school? She's about 80 now, isn't she? She's been missing school for about 40 years. It was ridiculous.
She spent more time in school.
Story of the day from The Sun, exclusive on the front page. Mo Farah hounded for cash by Mo Farah. Apparently Mo Farah borrowed somebody's name when he came here. Do you remember the big furore because it turned out that he had actually come here as an illegal migrant, as it turns out.
I think he was trafficked, wasn't he?
Yes.
It's a horrifying story.
Yeah,
he came when he was 9.
As a 9-year-old.
And it's one of these sort of weird cases of almost identity theft. And they give them the names and pretend that he's somebody else. And so a couple of years ago, the BBC did a big documentary saying Mo Farah meeting the real Mo Farah. And they kind of got together and there was maybe a sort of set of bonding between them and the rest of it. I think the story has said that...
The story now says that basically he was illegally trafficked here age 9, and basically what happened was that the original Mo Farah somehow contacted him, got his phone number, and tried to blackmail him. And tried to get money out of him because he was now famous, of course, and thought, he could probably cash in.
I think it's been described as emotional blackmail. I think it says that the Sir Mo Farah, the runner, gave some money originally to this guy and to some other people as well. And they've kind of come back with their begging bowl asking for more. And he said, this is a bit much, I've had to change my mobile phone number now and all the rest of it. I suppose this is one of the pitfalls of what happens when you're a rich and famous celebrity. What you can do in the United Kingdom.
It is weird, isn't it? But it's one of those stories that's just very, very strange indeed. Let's go back to the Labour government. Wes Streeting was interviewed by, well, not interviewed, but he was approached by Harry Cole from The Sun and asked some questions about the pledges, stroke pillars, stroke missions, stroke whatever.
It's all quite confusing, though, to the average punter. Can you remember what the 3 foundations are?
Yes, I can. It's economic security, border security, and
the other one.
Yes, national security.
There we go. And what about the
nearly got me there.
What about the 7? What about the 7 pillars of growth?
Happily, Harry.
The 7 pillars of growth. I mean, you know, there's the 7 pillars of Islam, aren't there?
Right.
There's the 6 pillars of foundations. There's the 5 pillars of...
5 golden rings, 4
rings,
calling birds.
Yeah, 3 French hens. Actually, while we're at it, why don't we just count down to the first gaff of the day? And this has to be the winner of all-time gaffes. Keir Starmer lighting the Downing Street Christmas tree.
Could you please join me when I say 5, 4... 3, 2, 1. Yay! It worked. Nervous moment there, but it's all good.
Really all good at all, is it? In fact, and the fact that he was so surprised that it worked. We made much fun of that earlier in the week. And here's our interpretation of it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, it worked.
Thunderbirds are go.
I mean, I was saying to somebody last night, you know, the ridicule level now is so high that there's really nothing they can do to get back a serious view of the government. It's gone, isn't it? It's gone forever.
He actually genuinely, for all the joking, genuinely sounds more and more like a Dalek every time, which led me again to have to explain to my American missus what a Dalek was, and she couldn't quite understand why we were scared of these things that couldn't go upstairs.
Yeah.
Maybe Starmer can
now,
go upstairs.
though.
They can.
Now they can.
I think Starmer definitely can go upstairs, so that makes him even more dangerous
with
than
the
a
hairdryer.
Dalek.
You know, there's a man coming up the stairs with the hairdryer. What's he doing? He's going to fire it at the wall. No, he's going to fire it on the wall to see if he can get the damp out of it. This from Sean in Norfolk. Good morning again, Mike. Hearing yesterday regarding Khan's knighthood announcement just sums up this government and country. An absolute disgrace. And your last voice note was so correct. Sean, absolutely right.